But I sympathize with this guy. I don't know. What did Brando do to make me sympathize with the mass murderer? Hi and welcome to my vlog about reading the Stormlight archive. I'm so excited about it. This is like such a big commitment, but if I like it, this is gonna be a whole new world because there will be like the fan art and the whole community and the whole discussion about this book. I would love to be part of something like this, something new. Honestly, I'm not sure what this is about. I didn't want to know, okay? I just didn't want to have any spoilers. I didn't want to know any plot points. I mean, I know it's of epic fantasy. I know there is a character called Shallan. I suppose there is an interesting magic system. I suppose there's some kind of epic battles and war and a lot of characters and magic. So I'm going to show you the edition I have. So this is the English edition, and this one already has some graphics in it, like these. I really appreciate when books have this kind of additional graphics. You see, it's quite pretty. But this Bulgarian version, the new Bulgarian edition, has this art is listed as painted from a Bulgarian guy. So I guess this cover art is unique to this edition. Look, they have the sign here, and they have the letters. The letters are pretty cool, right? Yeah, I love this. I love all these details. I love when the book has a good design. So the maps are quite cool. Here's Brando there. So yeah, and then it has the same kind of pretty graphics inside. The unique part is the painted edges. So cool, right? I don't know what this is, but it looks pretty interesting. I really appreciate when books have this kind of additional content, like sketches or art or anything like that. It just makes me more excited about the story. Sometimes it really helps visualizing some stuff. So that's book 1, The Way of Kings. Don't you feel like this excitement before starting something new? It's like packing your bags and you're about to go travel to some different country that you know nothing about, with people you know nothing about. There's just something very unique about large, long books. You invest so much and then the enjoyment is bigger. It can also be about a bigger disappointment, you know? It's risky. Yeah, you risk your emotions. But I hope it's gonna be great. Start. Hello again. This is my update for The Way of Kings. I managed to read so far, but it's 227 pages. So basically I read the first part and the interlude, and I'm at the beginning of the second part. I'm not gonna recap everything of every single detail. I'm just gonna make a general recap of everything that happened in this part, and then I'm gonna give you my impressions about the plot, the characters, the world. The book starts with some sort of a prologue that tells about events happening thousands of years ago. There is some kind of a big battle, there's some kind of a outgoing war. There are 10 special warriors. I don't know what they are they deities or are they supernatural humans? They have superpowers in the sense that every time they die in battle, they are reborn again, and this kind of a cycle goes on and on and on. And the character we introduced to, he seems really tired of everything. So these warriors, they decide to quit this fight, and just one of them is left. I lack context. I don't know who those people are. I don't know what they're doing, so it's very hard for me to even explain it to you, but it's intriguing, let's say. Then we have another prologue, which is nowadays. There is this, again, mysterious character who is a slave. We don't know why he ended up in this position. I want to know more about him for sure. He can use this Stormlight power. I don't know what it is yet. And he has this weapon. I'm guessing those swords and those armors that were left from those Asian warriors were passed down the generations, I guess. I guess there are just 10 of them, even though a lot of characters have them, so I'm not sure if there are just 10 of them. But there's these special swords, and there's this special armor, and there's this special power, this magic. It seems that like the royalty has the armor, but not necessarily the sword, and maybe not necessarily the power. I mean, I don't think people who have the armor necessarily have the power, you know. I'm still figuring out the details. This whole first part of the book is like puzzle pieces getting together. It's a big setup to something that's coming, and I'm not quite sure what is it that it's coming, because as I told you, I don't know anything about this book. I don't know where the story is going. So this mysterious guy killed the king. Seth is his name, right? Seth killed the king. So about the names, if I don't pronounce them very well, I'm sorry. I don't have much reference. So he killed the king. They started a war, like a revenge war. But reading through this new part, it seems that they are also kind of hunting for some kind of a precious stones. So I guess there is more to this war than it seems. In this first part, we got introduced to Kaladin and Shallan, which is the characters I've heard the most about. I don't know anything about them. I just knew that Kaladin, it works on some bridge, but I didn't know what he was doing there. Shallan went to this big city and she was trying to find the princess, and then we understood that she's trying to find the princess because she wants to steal from her, which is kind of the, I guess, the hook, the interesting part. She's not just going there to study, she wants to steal from the princess because her family is in a difficult situation. She's having a hard time convincing the princess to accept her, but finally she succeeds. That's her storyline. So we see Kaladin first from the eyes of one of the soldiers, which was a cool way to introduce him, because we see him like this cool young warrior who is everybody likes, it seems. He's bringing them good luck and so on. But then something happens that we don't know exactly what. I think he kills somebody, and so he's becomes a slave, and we see him really broken down, really kind of depressed, and feeling like he has tried to escape a few times, fails every time, and he gets people killed, or people, I mean, he feels like he failed his friends, he failed a lot of people he cared about, so he's very, very down. He's a very low point. Then he's sold to the army and he has to work on the bridge. Now, the bridge thing, it's quite interesting, because when I heard that he's gonna work on the bridge, I imagined he's gonna protect, like he's gonna guard some bridge from invasion, something like that. But I didn't expect what they're actually doing. What they're doing is like because the land is broken, so to pass from one place to the next, you need a bridge, right? And they have like static bridges that are always there, and then they have those, they move around. So when the army goes to attack somebody, they get the bridge and they run with it. They place it between two plates and the army passes over. So he was going through a very tough time, and he reached the point that he had nothing to lose, absolutely nothing. So at this point he was like, okay, let me try to help these people. They're already dead. I mean, when their life is already finished, there's nothing worse that can happen to them. Even if he fails, you know, when you reach this point, like you have absolutely nothing to lose, you're already at the rock bottom, he can only make it better. How can he make it worse? So he kind of has this moment of like, okay, I'm going to take over the command of the bridge and I'm going to do something about this. Which was a cool moment of him kind of getting his shit together. And then we move to the young king, the son of the one they killed, and his uncle, who has some visions. And there was the interlude, and in the interlude showed us this character who lives in a lake. I kind of like this lake setting. It feels very nice place, and his perspective was fun to read. A bit more light-hearted compared to the rest of the book. And they mentioned Hoid, which I know him from Tress. So I was like, oh, that's my guy. I guess for people who know Hoid from this kind of story, then to see him in Tress probably was fun. I don't know. I would like to know who he is outside of Tress, because in Tress he was much more like a comedic character. His mind was a bit compromised, but we heard the story from his point of view. So his voice is very unique and fun. So yeah, I wonder who he is. So in the beginning, maybe I told you I was kind of rushing because I really was curious to know what's going on. I wanted to rush through the story because I I kind of read like shorter books these past years, so I was kind of used to different pacing. But then I think after chapter 1 and 2, I kind of realized that this story will take its time to build up something. And once I kind of switched, I really started to enjoy it. I stopped rushing. I was curious to know more about the world. I was exploring the maps. I like that this world is really unique in the sense that it's not medieval Europe, but it's completely different planet and has different creatures, different plants, different climate. I wanted that. That's why I picked up this book. I wanted a different world. Shattered Plains feels like very interesting idea. Imagine this whole land so empty. It's very evocative, and it's kind of very good for setting when you have war and when you have a character who is also broken. You know, Kaladin is also kind of shattered and broken person, and he is on this land. It gives strong image. It's a strong image. I like it. So we have this very empty place with this very broken character, and then we have Shallan, very busy, very vibrant. I like it. By the way, when Yasna told her to come back, I was pretty sure she's gonna come back with some books. I don't know why, and I was happy she did it. I sometimes like when I can predict little things. But I think it's not a very genius thing. Okay, the world building, it's never too much. It's never going on too many tangents. We discover things along with the characters. For example, when Shallan arrives into the city, we explore the city with her, and then we learn a bit and pieces about her and her family. Then the next chapter we learn some more. Then a bit later we learn actually what is her real reason to be there. So I think this the pacing of revealing information is quite good. There is a lot of minor characters, but they're not overwhelming. So far I'm interested. I don't have a very strong emotional connection yet to the characters. I sympathize with them, especially with poor Kaladin. Poor guy. I sympathize with him in a lot of ways. I think it's a good start. I think it's a very creative book. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. I have really no idea. I'm guessing maybe the King storyline and Kaladin storyline at some point will crash because they're at the same location. I guess Kaladin will help his team in some way, maybe organize them better, have them some armor, like they're not gonna die so easily. Yeah, I don't know what is the real conflict, you know, what is the real thing going on. This is a very long story, so I'm guessing even the first book might be just a setup to something bigger. I don't know how Shallan will fit with everything, but I think she has something. I mean, there was something she mentioned about the 10 beats of the heart, which was something the set said before taking the sword. So maybe she has some more secrets about her. She's hiding more secrets. And also about her father's death. And what I'm most excited about is when these characters will start to meet and interact. Here is still like each character in his own space doing stuff and interacting with people around him, but it's a bit more like they're separated, which I feel it's kind of okay for the genre, and I am waiting for them to come together. I'm not sure if they will come together in this book or in the next. It's fine. I mean, I don't mind if the build-up is slow, as long as the payoff is good. I actually like the little interludes and the little side characters. It just makes the world richer. I think it's fun, especially with this lake person who was commenting on this foreigner, like, oh, who are those idiots, you know? So what I'm most curious about is I want to know more about the magic and the swords and who and how get them. I would like to know more about Shallan. There's something about her and the swords and this power, which we'll see. Also, I'm curious about the little spirit that is with Kaladin. I have a few theories what it could be, but we'll see. So I'm curious what the big conflict will be. Are they really supposed to come together to protect themselves against some big storm, or is there going to be some big baddie? There is no villain right now in the story yet. There is like the enemy army, but they're very like a faceless group of people. I'm not sure if we're going to get to see their perspective and who they are and what they do. I'm just rooting for Kaladin to get himself together and to help to help the people around him. I want to see how this is gonna go, and I want to see what Shalon will do. Will she steal that? And when she steals it, if she does, what's gonna happen? Because I'm pretty sure things are not gonna go smoothly. For a moment I was afraid they would kill the young king, but he survived. The image of Dalinar stopping the monster was like very vivid in my mind. I just imagine it like a great painting. I want to see if somebody made the fan art of it, just how he's stopping it with his hand. That could be a very epic shot. But poor Kaladin, his plan of helping others didn't start very well, but I liked how he decided to give an example, like attract attention. So I'm very curious how he's going to convince those men to change. I think it's fun when we have characters that are like wretched creatures. They're always kind of fun to read about, to wonder what happened to them, how they ended up there, how can they improve, can they be better. This is always interesting, and also the contrast between the kings and the princes and their kind of life and their epic weapons and epic armor and stuff, and then those wretched creatures there that are like, leave me alone, let me be miserable, and this, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hi again. So a few days ago I finally finished The Way of Kings. I really liked it, especially the ending. I think the fans have this term Sunderland or something like that, that is like probably the final 200 pages or so, which like everything is getting so exciting, everything is coming together and there is a lot of happening and you're like at the edge of your seat. I think I'm going to film a separate video which is gonna be more like a review of the book, but just to finish this disastrous vlog, I'm just gonna talk about my experience reading this book. Overall experience of this book is positive. The beginning I read faster, the middle part I had to take it slower to take it all in, because it's completely different world, everything works differently, there's a lot of information, and also I don't think there is like a very strong driving narrative. I don't know how to explain it. For example, when you have the Lord of the Rings, right, and you have this clear goal, like the characters are going somewhere and you're worried what's going to happen next. This kind of narrative here was more like building up towards something, but I wasn't sure what. So I didn't feel this kind of sense of emergency to keep reading. Like I can read a bit about Dalinar, I can read a bit about Kaladin, and it was interesting to get to know these characters, to get to know this world, but I didn't feel there is any sense of urgency. That's why I think the reading experience was slower. Of course there is a conflict, like what's gonna happen. I keep thinking about the book, I want to read more and more, but I feel it's just slow to read for me because there is no urgency. And then at the end, when everything is coming together, then there is a sense of urgency. There is just, everything is much more fast paced, and I really devoured this final part. It was really interesting and it was really satisfying when things came together and made everything before that worth it. It just took me more time to read because the build-up is slow. But I think if you don't have this detailed build-up, maybe the conclusion wouldn't be so satisfying. So yeah, I really liked that Kaladin went to save Dalinar. I was really excited about this. Not just because they're going to meet, but because they make this sacrifice, like heroic thing, which is always kind of uplifting. So I like that. I like this whole, not just the battle, but there's this emotional conflict. I really like this part. And I'm not sure how to talk about this book in short terms. Like, if I feel like if I want to be objective, and if I want to say everything I have to say, I have to talk for hours. This book was not exactly what I expected. I mean, there is a lot of action happening, right? But I feel like it's more character driven right now because we spend so much time with each character. There is the looming danger of something coming, but it's so vague still in this book. At the end of the book, you get some answers, right? But it's still kind of vague. The conflict is more within the characters. And I was thinking that because this is epic fantasy, we'll have some major conflict since the beginning, I guess. I was kind of surprised that the conflict is so local. Of course, there is the war happening, but the war is, again, it's not some kind of emergency, you know, like the orcs are coming and you have to defend your stronghold, or your enemy is attacking and there's just one battle. They're just repetitive battles. Nobody actually wants the war to end. They're stuck in this loop, and then something is coming, something ominous. Sorry, my pronunciation sucks. Something is coming, but it's so vague. And maybe that's why we have more time to learn more about the characters, because we're not so focused on something outside, something coming, like the bad guys coming. It's more like how each of these characters struggling in their own way. And this was something I maybe didn't expect in such kind of book. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. They have also some moments of self-reflection. So there's some moments that make you think about stuff. And I personally kind of connected to some of the struggles the characters were having. They kind of spoke to me, so that's another great thing. So I feel like the book had all these little elements that made it enjoyable, even though it was not a fast-paced, super exciting, super, tense book. It was more slow, it was more reflective, it was more character-driven, and it had a great finale. So yeah, it was a good book. I'm not sure if it's the greatest book ever written, because I feel like I just saw the beginning of the story. I don't know where the characters are going to. I'm pretty sure the finale is gonna be cool, because what I like about Brandon is that everything he writes is intentional. So I know that when I read certain stuff, it's not just waste of time, it's building towards something, and each layer is connected. I'm not trying to remember everything, because honestly, there is a lot and my mind is already so busy. Personally, I'm not trying to be a scholar of this world. I'm just trying to be a visitor of this world. Maybe I miss some details, but that's okay. It's okay, right? I watched an interview with Brando once, and he said that his books have these different layers. So it's still enjoyable if you don't get everything. And if you get the reference, it's even more enjoyable. And this kind of books are great, right? I don't know who is my favorite character. I think it's Kaladin for now. I think it's everybody's favorite character. About Shallan. Okay, I like Shallan, but sometimes she annoys me. And I think she annoys me because she reminds me of certain tendencies I had when I was younger. And you get annoyed by your own flaws. And sometimes I feel like, oh, you shouldn't be so dumb sometimes. You shouldn't be doing this. It's not that she's dumb, don't get me wrong. I mean, sometimes she's just not making the best choices. She reminds me a bit of Tress, at least at the beginning, but of course she's more shady because she's lying and she's being dishonest. But that's actually interesting about her. I think if she was just pure, innocent girl, it wouldn't be so interesting. I think that inner conflict in her, it's what's interesting. That the creatures that were following her, that was very creepy and interesting. I like Yasna a lot. I want to know more about her. So I like Shallan. I just think I need her to grow up a bit. I really like the atmosphere with the library and them kind of studying there. That was really cool. It was really vivid in my mind. Some people might say it's a bit boring, you sit there and learn about the history, but I liked it. It was just like very immersive, and it was a cool way to learn about the world. I really love the shutter planes. I think it's a very cool idea. I really liked when they went down in the cracks. That was so creepy, but like so cool. I really loved it. I almost thought that they're gonna be attacked by some monster at some point, but that didn't happen. Probably it's gonna happen sometime in the future. I don't know. It's gonna be a missed opportunity otherwise. I like the idea of the storms. That's super cool. The moment when Kaladin was out in the storm, that was one of the coolest moments. Now, of course, Brandon's prose, it's not like very poetic. It's fine. I don't get a problem with it because I true. I see it very well in my head. There's a lot of cinematics moments, like the moment that Dalinar stopped the monster. I just see it so well, like a picture in my mind. I picture everything very vividly. So maybe he doesn't describe it very poetically, but he describes it well enough for me to be able to picture it very well. After I read the book, I went into Pinterest to look for fan art. It's my favorite part of everything. There's so much great fan art, and that was really helpful to visualize some things. And I like also the graphs and the drawings inside the book. That was very cool to check, because it really helps to visualize some of the things because it's so different. I like the crops, so it was interesting that how different it is, like this world. I like that Dalinar as well. So I wasn't such a big fan of Adolin at the beginning, but he grew on me during the book. I like Navani. I hope we will learn more about her in the future. The relationship between her and Dalinar was kind of cute, but I didn't think it's gonna progress so suddenly. I mean, there was hints about it, but it kind of happened so fast. I felt like. But yeah, don't think the point of the book is the relationship, right? So Sadeas, how do you pronounce it? The evil uncle. No, he's not evil, but yeah. At some point, like at the beginning, I was convinced that he's going to do something bad. Then during the story, I was like, maybe he's not so bad. Because Dalinar misinterpreted the visions and he was trusting him. I was just a bit starting to trust him as well, or like second guessing if he's really going to do something bad or not. But then, man, he's like such a snake. He did a very terrible thing. He's like so convinced in that he's doing like the right thing, as they do. So I was not completely surprised that he betrayed Dalinar, but I didn't think he's going to do it in this way, so to say. That made for a great ending, right? I like Syl. It's another thing I visualize very well, like with her dress and her flying around. I think in the next book, I guess we're gonna learn more about this Pran, I hope, and Shademar and all these things. Oh, I forgot to talk about Zed. Or Zed. I don't know. I love this guy. I don't know why. I mean, he's a mass murderer and the things he's doing are bad. The excuse of, I have to do it because I'm trapped, but I don't want to do it. Okay. But I sympathize with this guy. I don't know. What did Brandu do to make me sympathize with the mass murderer? I think it's because of his internal conflict. I think it's because how much he doesn't want to do it. That makes him so interesting. And he's like, so, I don't know. There was just 2-3 chapters with him, but I already like him so much. Like him in the sense that I liked his character. I'm very curious what's gonna happen with him, and I hope he can get out of this situation, or at least he can realize that he can stop. Why can't he stop? Just stop! I'm looking forward to what is going to happen with him in this book, because I'm pretty sure he's going to fight with Kaladin. I mean, Kaladin is protecting Dalinar and this guy is coming to kill him, so there's gonna be a crash between them. I'm super looking forward to that, okay? Now I actually have something I'm looking forward to, you know, because the first book I wasn't sure where everything was going. Now there is a particular thing I'm looking forward to. Just the fact that I know this is coming actually makes it more exciting. So I'm looking forward to. I hope nobody dies, but I think nobody's gonna die. They better not die, okay? And I'm also looking forward to the characters meeting, right? Like Shallan is coming. What is going to be her dynamic with Adolin? So yeah, I'm so excited to start this, like to enter this whole new universe. I'm looking forward to learning more, and there's so much going on. But I feel like it would be nice if the books had more appendices. At some point it was difficult to follow all the people in Bridge 4. I wasn't sure who is going to survive, who is not going to survive. Shall I remember this guy's name or not? I'm so terrible with names. But now I think I know most of them. So yeah, I like them. They're a very curious bunch. I like The Rock and Theft and Moash, right? All of them are kind of cool and different. I would love if we learn more about other places as well. Maybe we're gonna go to other places in future books. Also, I'm looking forward to learn more about the history of the world, also about the Parshendi, because I feel like there is more to know about them. I saw one, like from the fan art, and also from the cover art. There is maybe some Pershendi main character. I really want to know their perspective. Pretty sure there's more to them that it seems. I hope that their race is presented in some way. We see their point of view. We see why they're doing what they're doing, what has happened. You know, that's kind of interesting, right? Right now, I'm more used to the pacing, so I don't expect to know everything in the second book. I expect it to be this gradual build up, so I know it's gonna take time until everything comes together. But I trust Brando that he's going to bring it all together in a cool way. The fifth book is coming soon, maybe it's already out when I actually manage to edit this video. I'll try to not get spoiled. It was a good time to start this because maybe in a few months I will be able to get to that ending. Yeah, even if I read one book a month, I think it's a good pacing for this kind of books. So yeah, overall I enjoyed Way of Kings. I think it was very inventive, interesting book with some interesting characters, very cool locations, unique world that is it felt very different. The book is very long and it could feel long as well in the middle because there is a lot to explore, but it's totally worth it when you get to the end and everything comes together. You feel like, yeah. I thought that after finishing the book I would just read something else, but I really wanted to know what's gonna happen next. And I know that this one is like everyone's favorite, so I started it because I want to know more. I want to make another vlog, but I'll see how I'm gonna structure it. Maybe better than this one. This one was very over the place, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm super new to this. Probably forgot to say 1000 things, but yeah, and that's it.